Yeah, so I'm Nathan Boyles, County Commissioner for District 3, and we're taking a little slow boat ride here up the river to meet an intersection point on the current Florida Trail, which right now dead ends at Yellow River a little bit to the west of us, and kind of taking a look at that path, and then hopefully looking at the opportunities where a future footbridge will cross the Yellow River so that the trail can continue through Eglin and in this beautiful natural scenery, rather than having to take what is the current 20-mile highway road walk detour. Wait a minute, I can't swim.
Oh. Okay. We have literally reached the end of the trail. Now, if we had a footbridge across this river, it would definitely help, as opposed to on a 20-mile road walk on State Road 85 or US Highway 90.
I vote bridge.
I vote bridge.
And so, Commissioner Boyles, one of the things we got to talk about is funding, and one of the funding sources we're going to be using is some tourism bed tax dollars to create this footbridge, and that wouldn't have been possible in years past because the bed tax district did not include North Okaloosa County. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means?
So, historically the bed tax district didn't really include the majority of Okaloosa County, and I think that was one of the real disconnects between the public and the expenditure of those dollars. I know for years as a commissioner, and even before I was a commissioner, I heard that frustration out of citizens about this notion that those dollars were only for the benefit of tourists, or only for the benefit of people who had tourism businesses or hotels. And there was certainly, I think, some truth to that. Again, in part it was because of this idea that district had been created and just captured kind of the southern fringe of our county, where the majority of those tourists were going and where those hotels were located. And the real change came, I guess, going on 3 years ago, when the citizens agreed through a referenda to allow the bed tax district to be expanded. And so, that bed tax district in Okaloosa County now covers the whole county.
Yeah.
And so, not only are we collecting money from hotels on the interstate in Crestview, from folks that are passing through our community and making use of that infrastructure, we're also now able to take those dollars and redeploy them across our county for projects that might benefit both the tourism economy and be beneficial to locals.
Like this footbridge.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, this is a project, I think it's fair to say that many folks in Okaloosa County live here in part because of the access to, a lot of really beautiful natural landscapes. And the Florida National Scenic Trail is really it's a treasure. If you look at, how many of those there are across the country, and it was, I don't know, maybe a black eye is a bit of a harsh term, but it certainly is unfortunate that right now we have a segment in Okaloosa County that has a gap in the trail. This is an opportunity that really, because of the expense of putting in a piece of infrastructure like this, would not have been feasible with our ordinary revenue sources. And so this, that bed tax district expansion opens up projects like this, and I think the citizens will see others in the future.
I think so too, yeah. So Nathan, we're here at the dead end of the Blue Blaze Trail of the Cimarron section of the Florida Trail, and somewhere in this location we hope that there will be a footbridge in the future. So
yeah,
I don't know the exact location of where it might be, but it'll be something once it finally gets built.
It seems like a simple thing, right? We crossed a couple of footbridges on the way in here, but when you look at having to cross a river that's 50, 75 yards wide and in the middle of a floodplain, there'll certainly be some challenges there. But I certainly look forward to the day when we walk to this section and the trail in sign is no more.
That's right. And this is a trail that will not only be used by us locals, it could be used by Florida Trail through hikers, obviously, and anybody that might be on vacation here in Northwest Florida. Maybe you want to get away from the beach a little bit, or maybe you want to come here just for the Florida Trail. I mean, that could draw, you got international hikers that are looking for this kind of thing, and so definitely an asset for Okaloosa County.
Yeah, and just a beautiful, I would argue, a beautiful segment of land, for the trail. And I know there's some beautiful places along the Florida Trail throughout its length, but I'd argue that we've got some of the best hiking right here.
I'd say so.
You know, we saw out here this morning, passed a couple of ladies out on the trail walking. It actually surprised me a little bit, but there was, you know, I think evidence of the fact that assets like this are ones that are good both for tourists and locals alike.
Absolutely, absolutely.